Welcome to this session on the Nuremberg Code, where we unpack its foundational principles for ethical medical research. Over the next few minutes, we'll translate courtroom debates and historical directives into clear, practical guidance, focusing on respect for human subjects, scientific integrity, and how these ideas shaped modern regulation and everyday research practice. This slide traces how the code was forged from courtroom roles and perspectives, distilled into 10 concise directives. Legal, scientific, and moral viewpoints converged, with advisors and judges shaping a subject-centered framework. The result balances accountability, technical rigor, and humanitarian concern so research protects the person, not just the physician or data. Principle 1 emphasizes voluntary, informed consent as the cornerstone of ethical research. Participants must have legal capacity and make a free choice without coercion, while investigators must fully disclose aims, methods, risks, and duration, and personally verify comprehension before any experiment begins, ensuring consent is genuine, documented, and rooted in respect for autonomy. Principles 2 and 3 require that research pursue valuable knowledge that cannot be obtained by other means, and rest on a solid, scientific foundation. Studies should build on prior animal data and disease understanding, anticipate benefits that clearly outweigh risks, and eliminate random or unnecessary experimentation to protect participants and preserve scientific validity. Principles 4 through 6 center on minimizing risk and harm. Experiments that are likely to cause death or disabling injury are forbidden. Unnecessary physical or mental suffering must be avoided, and any degree of risk must be justified by the humanitarian importance of the problem the research aims to solve, keeping subject welfare paramount at every step. Principles 7 through 9 embed safety and autonomy into protocol design by requiring competent personnel, adequate facilities and protections, and an explicit freedom for subjects to terminate participation at any time. Together, these clauses create the practical infrastructure of ethical studies, ensuring well-trained teams, proper resources, and respect for participant choice. Principle 10 establishes a proactive termination duty, asking researchers to balance scientific ambition with humanitarian responsibility. When risk assessments indicate probable injury, disability, or death, investigators must immediately halt the experiment and take protective action, reinforcing the idea that subject safety always overrides data collection or research goals. The Code's legacy extends beyond the courtroom into international norms. It influenced the UN Covenant on Civil and Political Rights by framing informed consent as a human right, shaped CIOMS guidelines for biomedical research, and informed WHO standards that guide ethical practice in global health initiatives, together forming a universal human rights foundation for biomedical regulation. Ethical frameworks evolved from the Nuremberg Code into documents like the Declaration of Helsinki and contemporary US IRB regulations, introducing physician responsibility, independent review, protections for vulnerable populations, proxy consent provisions, and ongoing oversight. These developments translated ethical principles into operational clinical trial protocols, review processes, and informed consent practices used today. Ongoing discourse questions the Code's rigid models and pushes refinement. Consent models face challenges in therapeutic research and vulnerable populations. Historical tensions contrast paternalistic traditions with patient-centered ethics, and global conversations drive continuous updates, so standards adapt responsibly to new medical frontiers while preserving protections. Modern research landscapes add new challenges: decentralized, app-based studies, cross-border collaborations, and complex data privacy concerns complicate consent and risk-benefit calculations. Revisiting Nuremberg's principles helps researchers, ethicists, and regulators safeguard participants, fine-tune consent complexity, protect personal data, and ensure risk assessments remain robust and relevant in fast-changing contexts. To conclude, the Nuremberg Code's core lessons remain essential: transparent, informed consent, continuous oversight, designing studies for societal value while minimizing harm, and upholding the right to withdraw. Embedding these imperatives builds trust, protects human dignity, and sustains ethical, trustworthy science as the foundation for responsible medical research.